You were never meant to live in the shadows of someone else's wounds. The shame you carry does not belong to you. It was placed there by others who could not see who you truly are. You're not small, my friend. You're not broken. You're not unworthy. This is a message that will help you to break this pattern of yours, that will say to you, it's over. I'm done with that. It ends today. The shame, the shadow, the fear that was holding you back, it's over. Because you are now ready to fully embrace yourself. And that's something we'll be talking today about. This message is for you. You are meant to hear it because I know there's something that is still holding you back. And you would like to own you. You would like to bring it on and move on, right? And shine your light. So I've created this painting called the Flame of Life that represents this inner fire of yours, and that's something I want to give you today. A reminder of this fire of yours. Doesn't matter how much shame you carry, doesn't matter how much fear you carry, doesn't matter how much of self-doubt and self-loathing thoughts and stories you're carrying. There's something deeper inside of you, and that's what I want to give you, like every single day, right? But today's message is deep because, well, every time you step toward what scares you, you reclaim a part of yourself. Every time you speak when shame tells you to be silent, you prove it wrong, right? You're not here to shrink, my friend. Oh no. You're here to expand like a tree. Yeah, expand your roots and expand your mind. So stand tall. See your body posture for a moment, because you will notice that your body speaks louder than words. And well, I've been growing up in an, today I would say, toxic environment, because I've been, exposed to many outbursts of anger because my mother was often depressed, and I had no idea about those things, but I always needed to protect myself and to adapt myself to my environment. And well, adaptability is a great skill, but if we're constantly adapting ourselves and dimming ourselves just so we would not hurt someone, or just so we would not trigger someone's anger, uncontrollable anger, and some kind of sadness and worry, then we kind of become too careful in the world, right? And when we would love to express ourselves, we start holding ourselves back. And if we do it for enough time, we forget who we are. And if we forget who we are, we become someone we are not. And it becomes a problem because we know there's something deeper inside of us that is sleeping. And you came to the point where you're like, hey, I have something to share. I have a voice to share. I have ideas to share. I have skills to share. I'm done holding myself back. I'm done holding myself in the cave. I'm ready to step out into the light. And if that's you, this message is for you. My friend, expose yourself to what you fear, because that fear is not yours. That fear is not yours. If shame makes you afraid to speak up, start speaking up, little by little. So one way that helped me to overcome shame, to overcome shyness, was actually that I've started to feel driven to start sharing a message. And it was so weird because, at the same time you want to do something, you also don't want to do it because what people will say? How will I be exposed? What if I'm not who I want to be? And all these inner mechanisms come on. But as I've started exposing myself, I've recognized I actually am who I feel I am when I'm doing that, when I'm thriving, when I'm shining. That's who I am. I'm not who I am when I'm ashamed or when I'm scared. I am who I am when I'm doing what makes me feel thriving. Like what I'm doing right now, this is me. So the question is only, how can I tap into that me that shines? So I can become the light rather than just some kind of a shadow of who I could be. And therefore, if you really want to embrace yourself, if you want to own you and become who you came here to be, expose yourself to what you fear. This is the great secret. Because it will teach you everything about yourself. Yeah, it will teach you about all the coping mechanisms you use to hide from fearful things. It will teach you all the distractions you use to procrastinate on what you're afraid of, just so you would avoid the unpleasant sensation that's present when you're overcoming shame. Little by little until it becomes your second nature, right? If shame or fear tells you you're not good enough to create, to love, to lead, challenge it by doing those things anyway. Yeah, that's how you challenge this inner narrative, because fear was never yours. You were not born in fear. Like, think about it. When you were born, you were innocent. You were pure. Then you've been programmed to be a certain individual that needs to be careful in this world, that needs to hide in this world, that needs to stay small so you would not stand out. Trees are not afraid to stand out. They know they have a purpose. The oxygen that you breathe is what they exhale, right? So when you exhale carbon dioxide, they breathe in the carbon dioxide. They have a purpose. That's why they're not afraid to stand out. When you recognize that you have a purpose, you stop being afraid of standing out. But it doesn't mean you will not feel fear. You will feel it, but you will not be blocked by it anymore. This is the difference. Sometimes people feel like, my purpose is to be a leader of this company. But every time I stand up, I'm blocked by fear, and then I don't want to say what I need to say. So if you feel this is your purpose, well, then going through this fear will make it possible, right? That's how you will actualize it. Then reclaim your narrative, my friend. If you want to say it's over for this shameful me, shy me, if you want to say it's over, it ends today, reclaim your narrative. What does it mean? Oh, are you ready? Are you ready? Because for the shift to happen, you must shift your inner narrative. Instead of saying, I'm not the kind of person who does this. Like when I started making videos, my inner voice was, I'm not a person who's making videos. I'm not a person who's talking in front of a camera. Like who they will think I am. They will tell me I'm not that person, so I don't want them to tell me who I'm not. So I will rather not do it. That was my inner voice, right? But also my heart said, I have a message to share. So therefore I have something to share. So I needed to reframe this inner narrative. Like going from I'm not the kind of person that does it, I went into I'm becoming someone who does it. So I became a messenger. Yeah, I became a messenger because I have a message to share. And I've recognized it's kind of an identity shift that we must make. Because, well, if your parents told you who you are, but later you've recognized you're actually so much more, then you need to make a shift. You need to shift your identity. Because if you're something so much more, then start saying to yourself that you're becoming it rather than you're not someone who does it, right? The change is only I am becoming it. Like if you're in sales and you're scared talking with clients, say, I'm someone who's becoming good at that. If you're an artist, but you're like scared to expose your art, say to yourself, I'm becoming better at being an artist, at being someone who's sharing art with the world and being okay with that. Eventually you become better, but if you don't shift your identity, it will always feel like it's not really you, right? So you need to understand that it's that inner narrative that controls your muscles, your body language, your facial expression, and your emotions. And sometimes you need to see yourself as already being that, so you can recognize what's the identity of that future you that has overcome the shame, the shyness, the fear, the self-doubt. Doubt will always be there. I feel doubt is like a motivation for greatness. So we learn to dance between confidence and doubt, right? So there's nothing wrong with having all these kind of inner stories that we have and doubts. But we need to understand that there is a higher you. The higher you is the greatest potential of you that is calling you into becoming it. And it speaks to you through inspiration. That's why today's painting is so wonderful, because there's the tiger, and tiger to me is like an animal of passion, of integrity, of power. And then there's the blue flame in its heart, and then there's, at the end, you will see the sunrise above its head, because this blue flame feels like an incredible power and passion and the fire of life that transforms pain into power. And every time you do that, it feels like a sunrise, it feels like a beginning of a new day. Even though around you may be a bunch of clouds and sometimes chaos and whatever, you stay in touch with that fire of yours, knowing who you are becoming, and then every single day there's another chance to try to be, even though sometimes you will face with the thoughts of quitting, and sometimes you will face with the ideas that maybe you are actually this shameful you rather than confident you. And at those days you will have a hard time, and you will be thinking like you're really fooling yourself. But well, today's fool becomes tomorrow's master if you stay in touch with the destiny of yours, the destination towards which you're going, right? Only today's beginner can become tomorrow's master. And beginner is a fool who becomes good at what he was bad at, right? And sometimes you're bad at being confident. So it's a good reframing rather than just, oh, I'm not good at that. Yeah, most probably you're not if you're just starting. And maybe in half of a year or in 1 year you will not make much progress. But just reflect on how much more emotional intelligence you've built, how much more skills you've built, how much your coping mechanisms have improved from destructive to more constructive, and see if there's maybe a scaling line that you can recognize some progress in your personality because you've been doing the work and you've been exposing yourself. This is the secret, because, well, if you go and watch my first videos, you will see how much of shyness was holding me back, and I thought I will never overcome it. But today I'm free. Yeah, but it took me almost 2,000 videos and many meetings and exposing myself to all kinds of scary things that today feel so great. So I've been exposed to who I truly am. So I've started using my shyness, my shame, my fear as a compass. Yeah, it sounds so weird, but I've started using it as a compass, because whatever shame tries to stop you from doing is probably exactly where you need to go. Whatever shame tries to stop you from doing is probably exactly where you need to go. So let it guide you toward your breakthroughs rather than away from them. So you can say, it's over. I'm done with this old me that's constantly avoiding what would be good for me, right? I'm done with this old me. It's over. It's over, because now I will be in control of that. Yeah, you can't control life, but you can always control the patterns that are actually taking you into a new version of yourself, where you recognize that you don't let go of an emotion by saying I'm letting go of it. you actually let go of it by reprogramming, by training a new behavior, by training a new pattern. Like in sports, when we have an old muscle memory, the only way to retrain ourselves is to consistently practice it in a new way. Like just some time ago, I was in the gym and I was doing one exercise where a trainer came to me and he said that I'm doing it wrong, but I've been doing it wrong for so many years that I have a muscle memory. So when he started teaching me how I should do it rather, I thought like it's almost impossible because I'm used to do it this way. But then I've started really becoming aware what kind of muscles I activate when I'm doing it wrong, and what's my legs position, and what kind of muscles I need to activate to do it more right. And as he was observing me and guiding me, I was able to do it more correctly. But then the next day I was doing it wrong again. So I've recognized, okay, now I need to keep repeating and keep being aware, and it takes more energy to fix a certain muscle memory that was written for such a long time. But that's how we are reprogramming our personality as well, especially when it comes to these shameful emotions and experiences. Like, I'm not good at that. Of course you're not, but you can become if every single day you expose yourself to what you actually want to do, but you are too afraid. And for a long time it will feel unpleasant, until you discover that there's so much of courage inside of you, and so much of strength, and so much of power that was just sleeping. And that's where the giant within awakens. And one day it will enlighten the shadow. One day you will wake up. It's not just by visualizing. Visualizing that new you helps, but then practicing it becomes, right? So you can go from seeing to feeling to being. From seeing to feeling to being. You see yourself as who you can become. You feel yourself. How does it feel? As how your future self feels like. And then becoming it through practice. Like tomorrow you have a meeting and you're too scared how it will go. You can visualize yourself how it is going as the greatest possible outcome. How is it going? And you feel it. How would you feel if it's a success? And then you go there and you will feel fear, but you will succeed. Even though maybe you will not succeed, you've still done a progress because you went there. Because shame would say to you, don't go there, it's scary. But you go there because, well, shame is your compass. If shame wants you to avoid it, then you know you should do it. And that's where you turn any kind of this emotional pain into purpose. How you turn pain into purpose? Well, you can share it with others. You can share your experiences, even in small ways, with others. You can, why this YouTube for me was such a blessing? Because every single day I've shared what I've been through with the world. And talking about what I've been through helped me to understand better what I was actually experiencing. And more I've been able to explain what I've been going through, more it was also helpful for others, because other people can see themselves in the message. So I've recognized actually all my past became purposeful when I started talking about it. If I would talk about it to some random people in my life, they would be like, I don't care. Why would I care, right? Most people don't care. But there are people who are interested in it. People are looking for these things. So you can start talking about it. You can start writing about it. You can write a book about it, right? That's how you turn your pain into purpose. And more you talk about it, more you understand it. More you understand it, better you can explain it. Better you can explain it, more value it brings to those who are going through something similar as you. Yeah. That's so interesting, right? We humans are quite interesting creatures. So rather than being, locked in the cage of fear and shame, you can say today, I'm done with that. It's over for me. It's not over feeling that, but it's over for me being blocked by that. Big difference. whatever you choose, writing, speaking, art is a way of self-expression, right? You just need an outlet for it. That's how you turn your past into something meaningful that can be empowering. And one thing that I've noticed in my life that was the hardest was actually to celebrate the progress. Because the progress was never good enough for me. I always thought, yeah, it's good, but it's not enough. Like, it could be more. And that's where I really learned to humble myself. So I've started measuring from 1 to 10, like how much progress I've done maybe 5 years ago, like how much confidence I felt 5 years ago from 1 to 10, and maybe it was 2, maybe 3. Then the next year, maybe 4. This year, 10. Yeah, I feel 10 out of 10 confidence. Yeah, because I've overcame myself. So if we don't measure the progress we're doing, we will never see it, because we kind of have some ideals that we will never reach, and then we compare ourselves with the ideals we will never reach, and then because we haven't reached what is almost impossible to reach, we're never satisfied with ourselves. So if you compare yourself with yourself from the past, you will notice you've done some progress, and progress should be celebrated. Because if you're exposing yourself to pain, also expose yourself to pleasure, so we can experience some balance. It doesn't mean expose yourself just to pleasure, but when you overcome something painful, do also something pleasurable. Because it helps you to reward yourself for the good work. You deserve that, my friend. That's how you say, it's over. I'm done with being caged in the old emotions. Because now you're also rewarded for the good work. You are the one that needs to reward yourself, because maybe in your childhood no one said to you, no one reminded you of your good qualities. You have so many great qualities that you don't even see in yourself. Like other people may say to you, you're so kind, you're so smart, you're such a good parent, you're such a good friend, you're so wise, you're so creative, your work is so incredible, but you never see that, right? You never see that in you, because you've never heard this kind of compliments from others, so you're not used to compliment yourself. What if I tell you right now that you should see yourself through the eyes of others when you look for your qualities, because they see something in you you don't see in you? It's not to be then, to lie to yourself. It's not like say some false ideas to yourself to feel better, but actually look for the reality, look for real qualities of yours that are there and you don't notice them because you're focused on some ideals that don't exist, or that you may never reach. I don't know. But usually it happens this way because, we have some high expectations for ourselves. My friend, celebrate yourself. Shame thrives in silence. So when you take action against it, acknowledge your progress. Yeah, acknowledge your progress. Even if it's uncomfortable at first, every step forward is proof that you're stronger than the lies you were taught. Yeah, you're stronger than the lies you were taught. So notice that. To any one of you, this goes to any one of you who've been holding yourself back due to some kind of a shame or fear or shyness, just because you've been growing up somewhere where you were not acknowledged for who you truly are, which is most probably most of us. Well, it's a good thing because it helped us to find our own way to become who we are, and therefore we became resourceful, right? We became creative. We learned to find a way. We learned to retrain ourselves. So then we can do anything. Yeah, you can do anything now. If not yet, you are getting there. I'm here with you every single day. I'm supporting you. So this is it for today. I will leave you here. I hope you found today's painting supportive for this message, because it is. And it has such a unique energy to it because it speaks of the energy of passion. And there's the whole description of this painting and its energy, its message on our site AttractPassion.com. If you write in the search Flame of Life, go and check it out and read the story because it may resonate with you. So yeah, check it out. The Flame of Life. If it speaks to you, its energy has a lot to give you. So you can also check out all of my other paintings too. Any painting that speaks to you, maybe it has something to give you. So check it out. They're all very powerful. And yeah, maybe you can find some support in them. So check it out. And also big thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. The link is in the description of this video, same as to AttractPassion.com. So click there, check it out, The Flame of Life. And till next time, one love.